Well, good morning everyone and welcome back to Copperline Rattler Ranch. Catastrophic collapse of the wall part 2. We're taking measures to help support the walls that didn't collapse. Some of them are a little bit squishy in spots, so we have to let that stuff dry out. We're expecting more rain this week. Yay. We got a ½ inch of rain in about 30 minutes yesterday, which flooded the bathroom again, and we used our new transfer pump to pump all that water out. We got it out of here fairly quickly. It was a little bit of a learning curve to use that thing. But we've gone ahead and shored up a lot of these walls so that as they dry, they're going to be supported and that weight's going to bring everything back down. So I'll show you what Don and his son did. They put some cargo straps all around the wall. Let me show you here. They're not there right now. Put some cargo straps up here at the top of the wall, pulled everything up to where it was straight again. It wasn't leaning too badly, but we wanted to make sure it didn't lean any further. Ratcheted that onto a T-post that was spiked in the ground on the other side. We'll show you that. And then put these braces. We happen to have these metal poles. We have some wooden poles in a couple spots. Put these braces up to help hold the wall up in place as everything dries out. The worst part of these bags are the ones at the bottom of the wall. I think because there's a lot of leaching up from the foundation. A lot of this water got into the foundation and is leaching up, so we have to let that dry. But let me take you, let you take a look. We've pretty much done almost every wall. This is the west wall. Shored it up. It wasn't too bad, but we just wanted to shore it just in case we had any issues. Same with the bottle window area. We shored it just in case we would have any issues. That one wasn't actually leaning at all. We've managed to get this west wall, the one that collapsed, as straight as we possibly can. And I'll show you that because we still have the straps in place. We're going to put additional rebar. Now remember, we had rebar in these walls. The rebar didn't fail, the wall failed, the rain, everything. And we didn't, I have to say, we did not tarp it. But we did have rebar. We're going to add a whole bunch more though. So that's where we're at with this. Let me show you over here. This is the, oh, bright sun. This is the east wall, and we've got it shored up too. It was not too bad, but now our next concern is getting the door frames and window frames back into square. We'll try to do a little bit before we get to the cobbing of this new wall. When we create the new cob wall on top of this wall, you know, it'll be up here, and we'll put bottles randomly in that. We're going to also put additional rebar in the cob just to help with our own, I know we probably don't need it, but just to help with our own peace of mind. So I'm going to take on the other side of this wall and show you how Don has taken care of keeping that level for right now. And while we put the rebar, we're going to put some of our 4-foot rebars that should take it all the way down and a little bit into that foundation. And then, like I said, we're going to put some longer ones that will stand way up high in that wall as well. So let me take you around and show you that. So here's the other side of the north wall, the north side of the north wall. And Don has put the straps onto some rebar and has ratcheted that wall up back into a straight position. We want to leave this until we're ready to start the cobbing, just to ensure everything is secure, everything is dry. And like I said, we're going to go through and put more rebar as often as we can put it in. You know, even some up here. These will be short bits. Anywhere we can put long ones, we'll put long ones all the way along this wall where it collapsed. So that's what we're doing. And let me show you what else we're doing as far as the outside cob. So we'll get you kind of up close and personal. What we're doing differently on the cob, here's a little bit of a thin spot. I'll have to do those over again. Is we're adding lime to the cob. At first I started adding about 9% lime to the cob mixture. It made the dried product pretty light in color, like over here. But there's a lot of cracking, and I'm sure it's because, you know, it's not perfect. I'm not worried about that because we still have our finish plaster to put on. This mixture is about half that. It's about 4.5% lime to the cob mixture that I was doing. If you look back on some of the videos where I show you how we mixed our cob, I'm just adding adding lime to that same basic formula for our cob. Now, I have a couple, like I said, it rained about ½ an inch in about 30 minutes yesterday, and it's kind of revealing some of the thinner spots that I have. So I'll have to go back and fix those. The cracks, I'm not really worried about. That's actually going to help hold that final finish plaster on, kind of like scratch coat would be. I've tried using a little bit of like a clay slip on some of the cracks, and it's holding just fine, and it covers them beautifully. So I'm not too worried about the cracks. I'm hoping that that's the case when we get to our finished plaster. But we've decided to go ahead and try and get as much of this outside cobbed as we possibly can before we start working on the cob repair on that north wall. And that's just to help protect it from more rain, protect it from sun, because now our bags are getting to where they're pretty old as far as earth bags, as far as sandbags go, and I don't want to risk any further damage to those bags. If the earth inside were totally solid and we didn't have all this rain, I wouldn't worry about it, but because the rain is leaching up or soaking in, we're getting some remoistening of all that cob, or all that soil that, I shouldn't say cob, it wasn't cob in the bags, but all that soil that was in the bags, and it's making them a little soft, pretty soft in some areas. So this is going to help, another measure to help protect that, not only from the sun, but from additional moisture. We're talking about having another 4 or 5 days this coming week of rain, and we're just kind of like, that's our biggest enemy right now, is this additional rain. But this, we did this one yesterday. I don't know if you can hear it. It's actually not bad. It's a little bit soft. You can see it a little on my knuckle, but it sounds solid. This is what we did a couple days ago. We didn't lose any of that at all. A little bit of what we did yesterday, because it rained after we did this, did kind of wash off. You can see a little bit more of the straw in there than what we would like for you to be able to see. But like I said, when we do our finished plaster, hopefully we'll do it when there's no rain, you won't be able to see that. You'll only see what I want you to see. I kind of like a little bit of that straw showing through, because it kind of shows what we've done, but we'll have to see if we truly like that or not. But when we do the finished plaster, we should have very minimal cracks in there. It should be totally repellent, because once we do all the finished plaster, we're going to hit it with a few coats of boiled linseed oil. That really helps to repel that water. It will soak into it. It'll still keep it breathable, so that anything, you know, humidity will exchange both ways, but not wetness. So, and then that's another one of those things that we'll just have to check and make sure that it's still holding that retention of that oil. We may have to just re-oil it every once in a while. We'll just have to see how it goes. So that's where we are in our repair right now. So today we're going to be slamming in some more of the rebar over on that north wall. So we'll show you that, even though it's kind of boring, but we'll show you. Okay, thanks. So over here we've placed the wood that came off. These pieces of boards came off of the top, the bond beam. So we'll take a look at those, see if they're salvageable. They might be. We'll have to take a look. Over here we've got all the steps and the vertical supports for the steps, and the step landing you can see is still intact over here. Anything that we feel we can reuse, we will. Some of this we'll put through a planer, because over time, because the wood quality has been so poor this year, a lot of this wood wasn't dried before it was sold. And so we're going to put some of that through the planer before we put it back up and get it nice, straight level now that it's had an opportunity to hopefully dry out a little bit. Some won't be reusable. We'll go through it very carefully and examine it before we use it up. So that's our plan. So stick with us. All right, we are tarped. We put in a whole bunch more rebar over here. I have to flip that tarp, the wind's catching it. Rebar in some other places that was exposed. Some more supports. And we're ready for the remnants of Tropical Storm Nora to come through. They're supposed to come through over the next 2 or 3 days and give us 2 to 4 inches of rain. So hopefully the tarps will hold. A lot of times they don't, no matter what we've done. We put tons and tons of rocks and bricks across the top. Tied some stuff together and hope that it holds. We'll have to see. Thanks for joining us for this part 2. But we just kind of wanted to show you some of the things that we're doing to help repair the walls, to help support the walls while we finish up this build. We still have a long, long way to go. We hope that you join us every week. Hopefully we'll be able to get videos out every week. We do have an anniversary coming up pretty soon. So that week we might not put one out, but we'll let you know on the Facebook page if we are not going to do one that week. So if you don't know, we do have a Facebook page under the same name, Copperline Rattler Ranch. So you can visit that page as well. It's got a lot of stuff on there that the YouTube channel doesn't have. A few short videos on that one. There's just some storylines on that too, as well as some of the things that we've been doing over time. And it does show a lot of the beginning processes that we went through for the build. So if you know, the YouTube channel kind of joined us about midway. The Facebook page has everything from the very beginning. So if you want to see more, you can go ahead and visit that, and then make sure you come back to this. And just remember to like, share, and subscribe to our videos. That would be wonderful. Very helpful. Sorry, these bugs are making me crazy. And we'll just try and keep you updated. We are not professionals. We are not experts. We're learning as we're going. We did have a lot of rebar in that north wall. When it collapsed, it bent a lot of that rebar. We pulled all that out, and as you saw, we put some new rebar in. We did leave some standing out. We're going to incorporate that into the cob, and then we're going to go ahead and get some more longer lengths so that those did not plunge all the way down into the foundation. We're going to get some longer lengths that will plunge all the way through the foundation, because it's a rubble trench foundation, and stand up higher. And then as we go on through the build, we'll incorporate more rebar just to help our own peace of mind, to help support that cob wall. We shouldn't really technically need it. It's not a necessary component of building a cob wall, but just for our own peace of mind, we're going to put some more rebar as we build up. And also we're going to put some randomly placed bottles that will give it almost a pseudo stained glass look. They're not going to be super close together. We're going to leave a lot of room, just randomly placed. We'll see how that turns out. So I've got lots of green bottles, blue bottles, clear bottles, a few red vases. I can't find any red bottles. Things like that, they'll just beautify that whole wall. That's the longest wall. We had no other windows or doorways in that wall because it's on the north side, just to protect from the north winds in the winter. And then, believe it or not, our sun goes pretty far north in the summertime, and that will help with heat, keeping the heat out of the build as well. We'll put those bottles in the summertime. In the summertime, it'll help give us some beautification in the wall and help us look really good. So thank you. We'll see you next time.